Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! You guys are tuned into and are watching the latest episode of Jonathan Clarke Video Blogs. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching my videos every time I upload one to my YouTube channel. It is truly unbelievable the response I get for the Descendants of Zombies videos that I upload, because I think the greatest honor of my life was to create all these great Descendants of Zombies videos for people who love the franchises so much that they've touched the hearts of. And in all honesty, I wouldn't have it any other way. There is no place in the world I would rather be than sitting behind this podcast microphone recording all these videos on Descendants of Zombies for the people who love it and who have forever and always cherished Descendants of Zombies. Because regardless of who the person is watching this video, there is a moment that has touched the hearts of every fan of Descendants of Zombies. There is a time that everybody thinks about Descendants of Zombies and being a fan of it and reflects back on the history of Descendants of Zombies. There is a favorite character or a favorite song that everybody has, and that's why they all watch this YouTube channel, because they realize the impact, and they'll never forget the impact that Descendants of Zombies has had on their heart. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for having such a huge impact on this channel and really on my life, because you guys brought me back from out of nowhere. Because in all honesty, I thought my career was over. I thought I had told my story, and I thought I had completed it after I hung up my headset for what I believed at that time to have been the final time. But you guys brought me back to be a voice of Descendants of Zombies, and this by far is the greatest honor of my life, because I know how much the franchises mean to each and every one of you. I know what it's like to be excited and feel excited about the upcoming chapter of Descendants 5 with Wonderland next summer. We are a year away from Descendants 5 with Wonderland happening, but even though we are a year away from Descendants 5 with Wonderland, it will give us an opportunity to discuss the storylines more in detail, to meet more Descendants of Zombies fans, and it will give me the chance to create more beautiful videos on your favorite stars, Freya Sky, Ruby Rose Turner, Dove Cameron, Sophia Carson, whoever you are a fan of. There is something on this YouTube channel for everybody every single day. This YouTube channel is 365, which means there are no breaks, and we go right on through the calendar year. So every day you're in school, every day you're out for a Christmas break or for Halloween, we have something on this YouTube channel for everybody, 365. We celebrate the birthdays of your favorite Descendants stars. We talk about all the moments that have mean so much to your heart over the last at least 10 years. It's been a decade that I will never ever forget. And I think the greatest way of honoring this past decade is by talking about Descendants of Zombies in the way that it was meant to be talked about. I just spoke about being lost in the atmosphere of Halloween and the countdown of Halloween ongoing. And it's so fun being out in this atmosphere and really feeling the Halloween spirit in the air. Everybody getting their Halloween costumes ready, deciding what they're going to be for Halloween, picking out Halloween decorations, getting ready for Halloween costume parties. I get so excited around this time of year. I know I've been promising people that I was going to carve a pumpkin, although I'm not the best pumpkin carver in the world. I think I'm going to try to attempt to do it. I also am going to try to watch the entire Zombies franchise from beginning to end, because I've been meaning to do this every year around Halloween, watch the entire Zombies franchise from beginning to end, because I've seen every Zombies movie 100 times over, and I never get tired of it, because of just how the movie was about acceptance and how one could find true love even if it was with a zombie. And I love talking about the Zombies franchise for all the moments of significance that we have seen throughout the franchise. And I love every time around this year when people watch the Zombies marathon on Disney Plus, the entire Zombies collection, which is now available for streaming off Disney Plus, and how Disney Channel always goes out of the way to air a Zombies marathon around Halloween time. I really appreciate that, because it brings people closer together, and we see some of the most beautiful friendships of all time spawn off of Descendants of Zombies, which is something that I give the writers and producers a profound amount of credit for, because I think that franchises that we've seen come and go in Disney's past have kind of just been here for a brief moment. And we've never been able to really experience the rapid ascension of Hannah Montana and High School Musical in the way that we have Descendants of Zombies, because of the profound impact that Descendants of Zombies has had on countless numbers of hearts. I just spoke on how fans of Descendants of Zombies became fans of the franchise because of the story. Others became fans of it because of the music, because of a moment that we share in and reminds us of ourselves, because really what Descendants of Zombies reminds us of is probably an experience that we have went through or had to endure in our own lives, which is something I think that High School Musical and Hannah Montana was really never on point with. All Hannah Montana and High School Musical really encouraged us where their dreams could happen for anybody. And while Descendants of Zombies pretty much encouraged us the same thing, I think that we saw the characters in our own lives and our own actions that we go through every single day. So I think that Descendants and Zombies has touched our hearts in so many unbelievable ways, and that's why I get really excited around this time of year to talk about Descendants and Zombies and just, hear everybody's predictions for the foreseeable future for zombies, because we've got a lot to be excited about for the foreseeable future. We've got Victor and Nova, these new characters carrying on the legacy of the franchise that Zed and Addison's characters are leaving behind in the mist. And I think that after the contributions of Zed and Addison's characters will never be forgotten, now the story will turn over to new characters, and it raises the ire of just what's going to happen next, what's inside of this vortex. And be it that I'm from an island with so many legendary stories about mermaids and pirates being associated with it forever, I feel really intrigued about the future of Descendants and Zombies. And I think there is more of a conversation happening now about what to expect next in this franchise after we have seen everything. From zombies to werewolves by Zombies 2, aliens by Zombies 3, and now finally vampires and daywalkers seeing their introduction into the franchise by Zombies 4. I know how a lot of people feel about the vampires being introduced into the franchise. A lot of people feel like vampires should have happened before aliens, perhaps vampires by Zombies 3, and aliens should have been left up until Zombies 4's premiere. But I think, the gap in between the release of the Zombies movies allowed for a better story to be developed and far better characters to be introduced, because if we would have seen a 2-year release window between Zombies 3 and Zombies 4, would we have ever gotten to the point where we would have seen Victor and Nova's characters portrayed by Malachi Burton and Freya Skye? That is the question that will remain unanswered for forever. Because I really believe that if without the gap, I think that you're kind of just rushing things to press. And by rushing things to press, you don't really have enough time to develop character traits. You don't really have enough time to develop a good storyline. And that's something I really appreciate. While the music is fantastic for Zombies, and the music got better by Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires, the thing was, I came away from it with a greater appreciation for the storyline and the development process, because it seems like for every franchise Disney has produced on Disney Channel ever before Disney Plus came into the mix, it seems like everything was rushed to press because they just wanted to get something out on Disney Channel for the sake of getting it out there. And that's why so many critics jumped on everything that Disney Channel was putting out probably 10 years ago, because everything was just rushed to press. And I think that that's what the critics love about Disney and Nickelodeon, is that there's always something to criticize. There's always something to bring us down about. But I think Descendants and Zombies has offered us more encouragement. And it really has instilled in our minds that our dreams can become a reality even when we think our dreams are impossible to achieve. And that's what I've forever and always wanted everybody to run away with on every video that I've uploaded on this YouTube channel, is that every dream that you have can happen for you. And that's what we saw through the eyes of the characters Zed and Addison in Zombies, which became one of the most revered power couples in Disney Channel history. I think forever the argument will be presented that Troy Bolton and Gabriela Montez was one of the most revered power couples in the history of Disney Channel, and second to that will be Zed and Addison. But I think when you talk about this new generation, there are so many characters that we have seen come and go through the doors of Disney that we've just wanted to hold on to for forever. I really do believe the story between Zed and Addison is a story that will never be retold. No matter how many times you try to retell a story for Zombies, I think this story is something that we are never ever going to forget, because of the significant impact it had on all of our hearts, and all different age demographics felt as if they were part of something special with the Zombies franchise, just as they did with Descendants likewise, with the story of Red and Chloe coming full circle, and expected to come even more full circle than ever before by the time Descendants 5 with Wonderland drops. I'm expecting great reviews and great ratings, but in the midst of the great ratings and the great reviews we will hear about for Descendants 5 with Wonderland, there is bound to be a fair share of criticism. And that's where I come in, because I'm here to take it away from the people who don't want to hear anything about the criticism about Descendants of Zombies, because I feel as if people just criticize Descendants of Zombies because they have nothing else better to do with their own lives. And I'm here to tell you guys, because I believe in the franchises just as much as what you do, and the power of the music and the power of the script, because oftentimes when the script is too powerful to express emotions, they turn to music, because music is just a powerful way of expressing your emotions. Through music we cry, we laugh together, and we experience in the most unforgettable moments in the history of whatever Disney franchise we're talking about. We did it with High School Musical, we did it with Descendants of Zombies eventually many years later, and I think forever after Marvel introduced us to the Marvel multiverse stuff, when everybody started checking out what Disney was offering to us. I just saw Tron Legacy the other day, and I thought to myself, everything about the Marvel multiverse, more than one Hulk, more than one Spider-Man, more than one X-Men. I think we've seen an expansion of the Marvel multiverse. And I really believe that forever Disney's been waiting on something to create something special for people ever since High School Musical and Hannah Montana departed ways out of our lives. And I think Descendants and Zombies really became Disney's answer to that. Now, while Descendants and Zombies may have received its fair share of criticism for how people felt about it, saying it was a movie and a franchise that may have never been made, I really believe that more people fell in love with this franchise over time. I don't think anybody expected it to explode the way that it did. I don't think anybody expected it to have so many great reviews compiled about it, but it really got through to people because of its acceptance, because of its true love being found by Zed and Addison, because of how Mal and Ben found each other, and their place in the world was found because their purpose was fulfilled by the end of the original Descendants trilogy. And I know while many people may miss the original cast of both Descendants and Zombies moving forward, I think more people are grasping the concept more than they ever have effectively of how the times have changed, and we too as fans of Descendants and Zombies have to change with the times. Which is why I really appreciate how Disney is really trying to promote this in a unique way, unlike they've promoted any other franchise they've ever been a part of or hand in hand with. Because we never saw a High School Musical promoting anything around Halloween or Christmas, but we did see it for Descendants of Zombies. Because Descendants of Zombies provided us with an opportunity to see so much created for it, because of so much creative energy being a part of the cast, and so much of a passion for Christmas and Halloween around these festive times of years being exemplified by people like Freya Sky and Meg Donnelly, because these are some of these stars' favorite times of year, and I can appreciate that because it allows them to be their self and allows them to be them for you, because sometimes what we see is not what really we see in front of the camera. It's what Disney or Nickelodeon wants them to be. And that's why I really appreciate how around this time of year we see a lot of social media posts from Meg Donnelly and Freya Sky about, this is who I am, this is how I want you to feel about me, and this is how I feel about how everybody's perceiving me. Because they're just shouting out to the media saying, what you see in front of the camera is not necessarily what's behind the camera, and this isn't really me. This is why I give them a profound amount of credit for producing these EPs and producing them so effectively, because producing an EP, because it's being done independently, allows them to really break out and really reintroduce themselves in a way that the label, if they're not being produced independently, does not allow them to be. So at least now, people like Meg Donnelly and Godly Control for the first time ever are reintroducing themselves to a global audience and being received in the way they want to, outside of how the media feels about them or how people have felt about them for forever. Because I know there are people who really don't know a whole lot about Kylie Cantrell and Freya Sky, but if you actually take a step back and give them space to really introduce us to who they are as a person, I think we come away with a greater appreciation, because I think there is always a lot of pressure on the shoulders of these stars, not being able to say what they want, do what they want. It's almost as if you're living inside of a box, and take it from somebody who knows what that feels like. It's really a horrible feeling. And I think that because these stars are able to now express themselves for how they feel because they're producing albums independently, I think they're standing out more, they're leaving more of an everlasting impression, and more people feel inspired by them than perhaps ever before. And that's what I really give them a profound amount of credit for, because a lot of people wouldn't be able to do that, because years ago it was all about the label for Jessica Simpson and Britney Spears. And I know this because I was the biggest Jessica Simpson fan in the world ever since her first album premiered in August of 1999. It was called Sweet Kisses. And I just saw the back cover of the Sweet Kisses album, and the track listings from Jessica Simpson included some of Jessica Simpson's premier hits. And nobody knew Jessica Simpson was going to explode into the pop star she was. Nobody knew it was going to happen for Britney Spears. But I think Britney Spears went on to produce something like 10 or 11 studio albums, which is really great. I think that nobody ever thought a star like Taylor Swift would get to the point of a Britney Spears or a Jessica Simpson many years later, but she did, because of just an inspiration being taken from these stars. And I think that now music and the way of acting and combining both acting and music together is a fabulous way of reintroducing us to, who these stars are. And I really believe that 10 years from now, nobody is going to be able to stop talking about who Freya Sky is, because Freya Sky is a beautiful person. I love her music, I love her style, I love her outfits, I love the way she perceives herself. I can seem to never say enough good things about someone like Freya Sky, because I really do believe Freya Sky has something special to offer us all, and I think we have more of a reason than ever before to feel honored to talk about Freya Sky. While people will choose to criticize her and what have you, I just want to be here for each and every one of you. I want to provide you with the great videos that you have come to know and love and deserve for forever now, and I think that enough people have said enough about people like Freya Sky and Kylie Cantrell, because as a result of how they feel about them, they're crying and they don't want to watch themselves on YouTube anymore. And I've just wanted to take that away from them, because I know how much these franchises mean to each and every one of you, and I know how much this time of year means to them too. I mean, I'm thinking about carving a pumpkin, which is something that I'm not the best at, but you know, you only have one life to live, so you've got to kind of make that count. And that's what Descendants of Zombies has always taught us, is just how valuable and how precious on time really is. Time is of the most precious commodity and is of the essence. So because time is the most precious commodity and is of the essence, it's all about what we do with that time and what we choose to do with the time that we are allocated, because we are only allowed a certain amount of time in this lifetime. And I know a lot of us would choose to go back in time and fix some of the mistakes we've made, because Lord knows we are all far from perfect, and we've made our fair share of mistakes. I've done this with an open heart and an open mind for forever, and I've expressed to you guys how I'm far from perfect. And I think that a lot of people who watch these videos feel the same way, but because they feel more confident than ever before through watching these videos, they know that Descendants of Zombies has provided them with initiative and really taught them the value of certain things, like how precious time is and just how valuable life can be on times, because we only have one life to live, and every once in a lifetime you have a good friend. And because of that good friend that you have and you forever and always carry with you, that you tell everything to because you trust that friend, if you realize, you come to terms with the fact that that one friend is all you've ever needed, it will help you make it further in this lifetime. And that's what Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker's friendship represented. That's what the love interest between Zed and Addison represented for many years in the Zombies franchise. And that's the reason precisely why we have gotten to the point we have with a franchise such as Zombies, because more people believe in themselves more, and more people believe in a second chance actually happening for them. And I'm here to tell you guys, that's why I forever and always believe there is nothing wrong with supporting your favorite Descendants of Zombie stars, and there is nothing wrong with believing in a second chance and just being you. If there's one valuable piece of advice I could throw out to you guys on this YouTube channel right about now, it would be just to be you. Because the best person in this lifetime is you, because there is only one you, and it's about how you make this life count and how you make it meaningful to each and every one of you. No matter if that's achieving a dream, setting a goal for yourself, falling in love with that person you've dreamed about spending the rest of your life with for forever, I'm here to support that. And I'm here to let you guys know that this conversation about Descendants of Zombies doesn't have to be over because critics feel as if they need to stop making Descendants of Zombies movies. Because if anything, we need to keep going. We need to find out more, because we have so many unanswered questions that we were left with in the midst of Descendants 4, The Rise of Red. You know, whatever happened to Red and Chloe? Whatever became of Voradon? Whatever became of Wonderland? And where is Alice? Because Alice meant so much to the Alice in Wonderland franchise. That is something that I forever and always held on to. It is something that I forever and always believed. And I think that until Alice sees her introduction into the franchise, along with every other Alice in Wonderland character of significance, we are still going to have more unanswered questions than ever before. And until these questions are answered, there's always going to be a need for a new chapter in this franchise. Because when I heard the news of the Alice in Wonderland characters finding their way into the Descendants franchise, I couldn't have been more excited. I was thrilled. So I want to see more of an expansion of Alice in Wonderland, because I was a huge fan of Alice in Wonderland. I, too, was a huge fan of Cinderella. So because I was a fan of all these stories and seeing them come full circle when I was a child, I remember watching these classics from Disney, instant classics, I think there's a greater appreciation to be shown and to be showcased for Alice in Wonderland and Cinderella. And I think that I can talk about this for forever. I can talk for it on hours on end, because in all honesty, I think that a lot of people just don't show the appreciation or the same value behind these franchises like I have forever and always held in my heart. These franchises undeniably have brought the best out of me. It's become the greatest honor of my life to be able to sit behind this podcast microphone and to have critiqued Descendants of Zombies in the way that I have. And I really do believe that for far long enough now, you guys have simply deserved better. And I've just wanted to be that guy to give that to you. Please forgive me, because I've always wanted to showcase these franchises for their true value and their true worth. But with so many critics online, it becomes very difficult to do it on times. But then I think about each and every one of you, and how you forever and always supported and stood behind your favorite characters and your favorite moments of the franchise and your favorite music. And because you love to rank the songs, you love to be a fan of Descendants of Zombies, there is no greater way for me to honor you than by reviewing Descendants of Zombies in the way that it's meant to be reviewed for a very long time, and far long enough now. So it's been an honor for me to be on this journey. with everybody who's been a fan of Descendants of Zombies, and to have had the honor of meeting each and every one of you. Because if you don't know by now, I have a lot to say where Descendants of Zombies goes, and all throughout Thanksgiving weekend in Canada. Of course, it's Canadian Thanksgiving this upcoming weekend. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving in Canada. I will be here because, as I promised you, it's 365. There are no breaks on this YouTube channel. We go right on through. So we're going to be here on Halloween. We're going to be here, of course, with the New Year coming up, and Christmas is going to be a whole lot of fun. And I just love talking about Descendants of Zombies all throughout the holiday season and showing it the appreciation that it's deserved for quite some time. So thank you so much from my heart to yours. Guys, keep Descendants of Zombies forever and always in your heart. I will be back with a third show in just a couple of hours from now. Stay tuned to this YouTube channel for more great videos on Descendants of Zombies as we stay calm and zombie on into the foreseeable future.